Hey guys, John from Heroes World here. I'm going to try and do a quick kind of like how to assemble minis. So first thing you're going to need is a couple tools to get yourself rolling. So you're going to need a pair of cutters, plastic cutters. These are the Godhand brands, the cheaper ones. They're actually really nice. You could use, if you have at home, you can use a nail clipper if you're in a pinch, or you could use a pair of wire cutters. I do suggest that you do get a pair of hobby clips, because they will have, if you can see it here, they'll have this flat edge here. That'll make life easier, and it's got a little spring hinge, which may not seem like much, but if you have to pull your pliers apart every time you're going to clip something new, then it will save you a lot of time and effort. And then you are going to want a hobby knife. So this is an Army Painter branded one. They have a newer knife now. It looks a lot nicer. You could, if you don't have much tools on hand, you could use a box cutter, or you could just use a really sharp knife if you have one. But I do recommend a dedicated hobby knife and something with a non-sharp edge here. So if you need to put some pressure on it, you can use your hand. So we've got a Necron here, Illuminor Szeras. We think the S is silent, we're not sure. And these are the instructions here. So it looks daunting at first, but it's actually not hard. I've taken the liberty of doing the first step here, which is putting together these pieces here, and then putting together that. So that's what that looks like. I am missing this front piece here that I noticed now, so I'll do that maybe later. But I was just going to skip to this part of the base here. So you'll see this is the next, so this is step 2, and then it shows a piece here, and then it shows an inset here, which shows you how to construct that piece. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to do this piece, and then maybe I'll do another video of how to glue things. So I've got the Citadel plastic glue here. So you do want some glue. You could use super glue. I do recommend a dedicated hobby glue, not something from the dollar store or whatever. And some plastic glues don't work on all plastics. So if you're looking at this video to apply it to Gundams or some other models, sometimes the plastic glue doesn't work on all forms of plastic. So this is a plastic glue that will work on the GW glue, and what it does is it fuses the plastic together. So I could use a super glue as well, but I'm going to use this. It's a little easy to work with. So let's get rolling. So what we're going to do is we got our sprue here. And on the sprue, you can kind of see it, or maybe not see it. There's numbers here. So this is a 6 here. All right, so I'm going to take the matching part. So the inset here shows that you have to make this part, and then there's an inset for that part that says you have to make this part. So 6 and 7. So we're going to do 6 first. So this is 6 here. So you're going to take your clippers. This is why I recommend you get something with a flat edge. So you can take the flat edge, and I'm trying to do this on camera, so it's going to look a little funky. And you want to put the flat edge and match it with the flat edge of the model, and you want to cut. Right. So if you're doing this with a nail clipper or something else, not for hobbying, it's a little harder. So you'll see here, flat side. So not this side, because you'll see I'm not going to get right up against the model. So you want this flat side, it's right there, you can see there's no space, and I'm going to clip right there. And then we're going to carry on for the rest. And here. All right, so that piece is now free. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to take your hobby knife, and this is an extra step. Some people don't even bother doing this, but this is to clear off what they call the flash. Like, I got a pretty clean cut here. But sometimes you'll see a little bit of a nub sticking up here. So you take your hobby knife and you just kind of shave it off. I hope this is coming out because I don't want to cut my hand, so I'm trying to look at the piece and not into the camera. So everywhere you clipped, you want to shave that piece off. So you see I got a little too much there. So you're going to see the white, that's kind of like a stress mark. But for these type of models, since we're painting over them, it's not a big deal. If you were working on a Gundam or a model car or something along those lines, then you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. What you can do is, if you're super hardcore, you can get a file, or you can get like the little sanding pads, and you can actually further sand it down so it's extra smooth. And some guys do that, and it's really hardcore. I got nothing but respect for them, but I'm usually in a rush to build these because I want to get playing, or I'm just impatient. So I'm going to look for the 7 now. I tried to mark this off beforehand so we wouldn't be searching all over for it. And I believe it's this piece here, yeah. So if you can see here, there's a 7 there. Unfortunately, these sprues are not going to be in order. I think GW uses some type of computer program to figure out how many pieces they can put on one sprue. So sometimes the 1 is at the top, sometimes 7 is at the top, the bottom. Like, they're all over the place. So that one came out pretty easy. And we're going to clean it off. So this is where the non-sharp edge comes into play, where I can kind of just hold it in place, and I can use, I don't know what the scientific term for this is, but I'm going to pressure from here to force this instead of just using my whole arm to kind of chop. So it gives you a little more precision. So that piece looks pretty clean. Sometimes, depending on how nicely your plastics are molded, there might be additional flash because these are injection molded. So some of the other brands might have little bits of plastic sticking off. So you want to like shave those off and things like that. But Games Workshop is very, very clean. They've been doing this for a long time. So their stuff is usually not going to have anything like that. So we're going to look at this instructions again. So right here it says this goes there. The yellow markings on the instructions usually kind of tell you where a contact point is going to be. So it kind of gives you a little tip. They got these little arrows in here, but like you wouldn't figure it out. Like, well, I'm going to push this way, or whatever. So this, you can match it up to the picture here. There, and we're just going to, is it like that? Sorry, doing everything on camera here is kind of weird. All right, there you go. And you usually want to do a test fit and make sure it's good. Right, and I might as well glue this piece. So I'm going to look for contact points here. So you can see in the diagram they have this whole yellow line or yellow highlighted area. That's basically what's going to be contacting. So you can see here these 2 points, these 2 nubs here are going to help line it up, and then there's 2 extra nubs here. So I'm actually going to put my glue there. So I'm going to use a GW plastic glue. So it comes with this nice metal pin in here to make sure the glue doesn't get everywhere. So depending on how precise you want to be, you might want to put the glue on a palette and use a toothpick. I'm going to be lazy here, and I'm going to put it right on the model. So you can see a lot of it comes out, so you be careful with this. And I'm just going to hit all the parts that they had originally highlighted in yellow. And then we'll take that, and we're going to push these together. So you got a little bit of time. The plastic glue takes a second to kind of start melting together. So you can see some of it, I got like a little bit of over splash there, but since this is going to be painted, it's going to be, and some of it, and it kind of like sinks down a little bit too after it dries. So you will see a little bit of shininess when you put too much on. And then this step is going to lead to these steps here. So this piece is now here, and there's a next leg. Is this way? No, sorry, this way. And then there's a next leg that's going to go up here, and then that's going to go with this assembly here. So it's going to be something like that. So I'll try and do a couple more videos on just how to pop these together. But that's it. That's all you need to build models, really. So you need hobby knife, nice pair of hobby clippers. I do highly recommend. These ones are dedicated for plastic. If you are working with metals and resin, resin is fine for this. But if you're working for metals, then you want to get another pair of clippers, something more heavy duty. So this one was probably marked as a plastic clipper because what happens is some of these blades are not as strong, and when you cut metal, it might make dents into it, which is going to give you an uneven cutting surface in the future. It's going to be a pain in the butt. And then you do want some glue, whatever glue is appropriate to your model. So this case, we are doing GW models, so I got the GW plastic glue. We can also use on these, you can use Tamiya extra thin cement. That works. You have to use a little bit more because it's very thin. You need a little bit more for Games Workshop models. And you could go straight to a super glue if you wanted. So hopefully you guys found that useful. I'll probably try and do some more of these. Thank you. Hey guys, just wanted to jump back in the video for a second. So when I mentioned the God Hand clippers, I said the cheaper ones. So these are like $20 or less. This particular one, the God Hand does make a very high-end clipper, which is like $80 Canadian plus. They're super nice, really good for building Gundams. I don't really recommend them for Warhammer because when you're cutting here, this plastic is a little stronger than Gundams, but you know, you totally could use it. It'll save you a little bit of time. But I found that I didn't really appreciate the difference versus the amount I'm paying for it. So I think these are great. We sell them in the shop here, $16.99. Thank you.